It's a bit of a cliche, but America loves its boats. You attack one of our boats, we go to war. Except for that one time when the USS Liberty was ruthlessly attacked and napalmed by the Israelis. Today we're doing the USS Liberty here on MKUSUAL. All right, Nick, what do you know about the attack on the USS Liberty?
No comment.
Oh, so you know something. So on June 8th, 1967, my mother was but less than a year old.
Your mom did the attack on U.S. Liberty?
Bad baby Susan. June 8th, 1967, the USS Liberty, an American intelligence gathering ship, was attacked by Israeli forces during the Six-Day War. The attack resulted in the deaths of 34 U.S. servicemen, and more than 170 others were injured. Israel later claimed the attack was a case of mistaken identity, but many people believe the assault was deliberate. And I think the deeper we get into this, all right, YouTube,
It's nice knowing you guys.
it's nice knowing you. I think as we get deeper into this, the idea that it was a mistake seems crazier and crazier. And we can opine toward the end of this about what the hell was going on. Okay, so the Six-Day War happened from June 5th to June 10th, 1967. It involved Israel fighting against a coalition of Arab states, including Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. Israel launched a preemptive strike on Egypt after escalating tensions in the region, including Egypt's closure of the Strait of Tiran and the buildup of Arab forces along Israel's borders. The USS Liberty was stationed in international waters off the coast of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, monitoring the situation and gathering intelligence on the war as it unfolded. First of all, the Six-Day War is kind of, from our perspective as Americans, it was a huge intelligence failure because Israel surprised us.
That they were going to do this?
Yes. The U.S. analysts believed Israel would need weeks to mobilize and then it would suffer heavy losses if it was attacked first. You know that the big ugly poster we have up in the living room?
Yes.
So that, hold on, I'm going to throw this up in the episode. I bought this at a thrift shop because I thought it was hilarious. This poster is from 1967, and it was made because everyone underestimated Israel.
Oh.
And we thought, so the U.S. intelligence community, and in fact the world, was like, one, there may not be a war. Two, Israel would just be flat out destroyed by all these different countries with so many millions more people. So anyway, so that poster after they won the war in 6 days is supposed to be like super Israel.
The Ubermensch.
Israel, however, launched Operation Focus, destroyed the entire Egyptian Air Force in hours, taking U.S. intelligence completely by surprise. The CIA had assessed that neither side was prepared, yet Israel launched coordinated preemptive strikes, leading to overwhelming victory in just 6 days. In May of 1967, Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser expelled UN peacekeepers from the Sinai, blockaded Israel's shipping in the Red Sea, and massed troops on Israel's borders. However, the CIA still believed war would be avoided. The U.S. mistakenly believed the USSR was trying to restrain its Arab allies, but later declassified documents show that the Soviets were encouraging Egypt and Syria. There were unconfirmed reports that the Soviets had nuclear weapons on submarines near Egypt, which could have escalated into global conflict. The United States failed to pick up on Soviet disinformation campaigns, including a false claim that Israel was massing troops to invade Syria. This lie helped push Egypt into the war. Already we had an intelligence failure, but we had this ship there whose whole job, the USS Liberty, was to gather intelligence.
I think I read its cover was a research vessel of some sort.
So let's talk about the incident. As I said earlier, it began on June 8th, 3 days into the war, 1967. The USS Liberty was internationally recognized as being in international waters. Israel aircraft and torpedoes began to attack the ship. This attack lasted for over 2 hours, with Israeli forces using fighter jets, machine guns, and torpedoes to disable the ship. The USS Liberty was struck with 3 waves of airstrikes, causing massive damage to the ship. The Israelis also used napalm during the attack, setting the Liberty ablaze. Despite the heavy damage to the USS Liberty, the ship managed to stay afloat thanks to the heroic efforts of the crew. The ship was able to send distress signals, and eventually a nearby American ship, the USS Saratoga, responded to assist. Israel initially claimed the attack was a case of mistaken identity, stating that they believed the USS Liberty was the Egyptian ship, likely the El Qasir. So let's look up that ship. There is a side-by-side comparison as well as a proportion comparison. Look at the difference in size. Seems, I don't know, seems pretty sketchy.
Almost twice as, it's more than almost twice as long.
And it was in international waters. But they would have had to have great intelligence anyway to have pulled off this attack.
Right.
And they're 3 days into it. They've already wiped out the entire Egyptian Air Force. How the hell do you not know where the Qasir is? And you just start firing on this United States vessel. Despite Israel's explanation, several key factors have raised doubts about the credibility of the mistaken identity narrative. For one, the USS Liberty had clearly marked United States identification on its hull and its mast, including a prominent American flag. Also, sorry, go ahead.
That's it.
The Israeli jets attacked Liberty for over 2 hours in broad daylight and clear weather, with multiple opportunities to verify the ship's identity. And Israeli pilots reportedly radioed the ship. The ship had, it was intelligence, it had radio. There was communication happening during this attack. The CIA, in an internal report, concluded that the attack was likely intentional. The report also noted that the Israelis did not make adequate efforts to confirm the ship's identity before launching the assault. Israeli military whistleblowers have claimed that the attack was pre-planned with the goal of silencing the U.S. intelligence operation. Survivors and others included in the incident have pointed to the fact that the Israeli fighter jets reportedly circled the USS Liberty before attacking, having ample time to identify the ship. The Liberty's communication equipment was destroyed during the attack, making it difficult for the ship to call for help and ensuring that no communication could be sent out regarding the attack's true nature at the time. However, there was some radioing, and they did get the Saratoga out there. Many USS Liberty attack survivors have claimed that the U.S. government was complicit in covering up the truth to avoid damaging U.S.-Israel relationships. Congressman Paul Finley and other critics of U.S. policy towards Israel have called for a full investigation into the attack, arguing the U.S. government prioritized its relationship with Israel over the lives of American servicemen. Admiral Thomas Moorer, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, stated publicly that the attack on the Liberty was not an accident and that the U.S. government failed to fully investigate the incident. But what were the politicians saying at the time? The U.S. government's official stance has always been the same as Israel's, that it was a mistake, and the incident was quickly classified as accidental. President Lyndon B. Johnson and Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara were involved in this decision to downplay the attack, likely due to the U.S.'s close relationship to Israel. And I believe I have a quote here. Lyndon B. Johnson allegedly ordered the case closed, telling the Navy, quote, "I don't give a damn if every man drowns. We're not embarrassing our allies."
Oh.
You want to know how much compensation Israel gave the United States? Okay, keep in mind they killed 70 people, injured 130, napalmed, torpedoed a warship for 2 hours with a big American flag on
Not
it.
a warship.
Oh, not an intelligence ship. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. That makes it worse. How much money is 200 casualties, an intelligence ship? How much is that worth?
Well, the lives are priceless.
Yes.
For
No, man. Put a.
about $350.
They paid $6 million.
Not enough.
$6 million is not enough. And get this, Israel refused to do a full-scale inquiry.
Sounds like how they responded to inquiry about their nuclear program. Also, they just refused.
That's kind of one of the theories here. We wrapped up our investigation in 10 days, thanks to Johnson. Admiral John S. McCain, father of John McCain, was part of the military investigation into the incident and concluded that it was a, quote, mistaken identity case. I think it's interesting John McCain's father is somehow wrapped up in this.
Yeah.
John McCain, famously, is a war hero, no doubt. Famously very pro blowing up other Middle Eastern countries.
Yes. So there were a total of 293 personnel aboard the ship. 34 were killed and 170 wounded. So they were trying to
wipe it out.
Get rid of everyone on that ship. Yeah. It's amazing that anyone survived. But there were survivors, and they have their own accounts of what happened.
Here's what the ship was maybe doing. Well, here's some theories as to why they did it. One, the USS Liberty may have been gathering intel on Israeli war crimes. The USS Liberty may have been gathering intel on Israeli war crimes, which include the execution of over 400 Egyptian POWs in the Sinai. This is all with less than a week. And they knew we had this intelligence ship there. They're committing war crimes.
ChatGPT is saying it was only there for a few hours.
So it pulled up.
Yeah. So if they had suspicion of these alleged war crimes, and then an intelligence gathering ship shows up, Israel might be like, they're going to catch us doing it. They were probably monitoring signals, because that's what, I mean, you don't have like a line of sight past the coast on the land, so you're probably monitoring radio traffic, etc. You probably have, I don't know, it's 13 miles off the coast, so...
2 hours after the attack, Israel informed the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv of the attack.
That's such a crazy... Someone's job was to call the embassy and be like...
So...
see, what had happened was...
The National Security Agency report on the event included declassified documents which stated every official interview of numerous Liberty crewmen gave consistent evidence that the Liberty was flying the flag and further weather conditions were clear. Well, there's a second theory, Nick. False flag dragged the U.S. into war. Some believe Israel wanted the U.S. to think Egypt attacked, which would justify American involvement against Egypt and Syria. And okay, so I was looking up the timeline of this attack. So it was 2 hours. They tried to they dang near wiped everyone out on that ship.
Yeah.
If they had
That might have been successful if that theory is true.
if the Liberty had not got the Saratoga to send a helicopter, there was a helicopter that showed up at one point and it was like verifying this. If they had just wiped out everyone on the ship, I think that telephone call in Tel Aviv would have been a little different. That's scary. Here's another connection. Some suspect deep state elements in the U.S. and Israel coordinated the attack, but botched the cover-up. LBJ was focused on not losing Jewish American support during Vietnam. There you have it. Believe what you want. Believe what you will. Survivors and military officials still demand a real investigation. Many of the survivors have spent decades seeking justice. The incident still is a sensitive topic in U.S.-Israel relations. I think this one just shows you really don't have as many real allies in this world as you think. I hate to get all philosophical. You can have shared interests.
Right.
You can have common interests, but at some point in the big jungle of international relations, if it behooves somebody to kill 300 of your men and blame it on someone else, who's to say what's right or wrong?
It's there are now I'm like you're saying, shared interest is like those are material interests. You're not considering the humanity of this. You are
Well, you're not really friends.
right. You both stand to gain materially, and by material I mean politically, or in the context of war. It's a game of chess. You're moving your pieces to put yourself in an advantageous position, and you sacrifice some pawns to get there. It's a metaphor as old as time.
I want to throw out 2 links before we go. I realize this is a bummer of an episode, but there is a USS Liberty. There is a USS Liberty Veterans Organization. It's at ussliberty.org. Their homepage says, "Help us bring the true story of the attack by Israel on the USS Liberty to the American people." There is also an Action Network petition you can sign, I believe, from the organization. It's the petition to investigate the attack on the USS Liberty. So if this fired you up, support these people.
I would love to hear what some of these survivors have said over the years.
I wonder if we could interview one. There's a contact form, bro.
I would love to hear their story.
Yeah, if you're checking this out after we've emailed you, we're good guys. I know we do a lot of funny stuff. We ain't gonna be cracking jokes.
Right.
I want to hear the firsthand account because this is bonkers. This is a national travesty, dude. We have gone to war. We have gone to war with whole countries over attacks on a single ship.
Yeah.
The Maine.
I was thinking of the Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah. Drop your favorite banking conspiracy below.
Your favorite false flag / banking conspiracy.
Your favorite Hollywood. Oh, no. All right.
Oh, no.
I might cut. We love you.
We love you. Thanks for sticking with us.